Before the break, we were talking about the financialization of nature, and we were talking about these carbon pipelines that are going across land and how it's messing over the farmers, how it's a great scam that benefits the elites. How does that work?
Well, many people don't understand this, but what's happening right now is that the big private companies, in fact, there's major private organizations, and that's the key thing to understand, they're private, not public, are basically investing in these large pipelines to capture CO2 emissions that come from ethanol or whatever, which is actually a benefit to plants that we actually...
CO2 is good for plants,
we actually need that to actually have a plant grow. And anyway, they're wanting to capture it and actually put it in vaults up there in North Dakota somewhere. So you've got now thousands of miles of pipeline already there. There's a plan over the next 20 years to have 60,000 plus miles of pipeline through the heartland of America, not just through Iowa, but Nebraska, South Dakota, North Dakota, Illinois, all these great heartland states that have farms, grow crops in. They want to go underground. And what they're doing is they're trying to use eminent domain to go to these farmers and say, listen, I need access to your property. I want a survey on your property. I want to actually build a pipeline and put it underneath your property. But here's the problem. It's for private use. There is no public use. So this gets in and infringes upon our Fifth Amendment protections that, we have the right to due process and proper payment. And that's if it's for public use. So there's a challenge there even when it's public use. Nobody likes to have some utility company coming on there even if you don't want it. But if it's for public use, they have an argument. This is for private use. There are private companies. BlackRock's invested in these. Saudi Arabia's invested. The Saudi investment funds invested in these as well. So this is a problem that we have, and we're seeing farmers right now getting their rights invaded. So we're standing up for them. In fact, I'm out there campaigning in Iowa. I've been to 64 counties. I've spoken with hundreds of farmers. I've met with one person that was in favor of these pipelines, and they actually worked for an ethanol plant. We're just standing with them, and we're telling them that we're going to be a voice for you, because this is the beginning of the end. When you start messing with the Constitution, when you start taking away our rights at property rights, the basic level, then where does it end up? And we're seeing these be infringed upon all the time.
I'll tell you where it ends up. It ends up where you own nothing and you're happy, according to the World Economic Forum. Then we become renters of everything from the elites. And the elites are profiting from these pipelines. They've created a problem by claiming there's too much carbon dioxide. Now, we have a simple carbon capture mechanism. It's called a tree. And it can capture carbon dioxide, and it can produce food for us and forests and all sorts of wonderful things. But no, they've created a problem. They've created a solution that makes them wealthy and the rest of us subservient to them. That's the problem. And they're disregarding. How do you have property rights when nobody has property?
Well, and this is the big problem, too, is that it's all funded by your and my tax money. So all the benefit really comes down through these tax incentives that Joe Biden put together in his Inflation Reduction Act, which basically goes from $50 to $85 for every metric ton of CO2 they capture. And when they do that, they're going to give them a big bonus. So now there's billions of dollars in this lifetime annuity going to these pipelines. And who's paying for it? You and me.
So here's a question.
We're paying for them to have this.
We're paying for it. Is government the problem, or is government the answer, or is it both?
I think the answer is found in the first three words of our Constitution. We, the people. This is a moment now where we have to recognize somebody keeps infringing on my rights. Why am I letting this happen? So what they want to do is, doesn't matter whether it is. We're talking about debt. We're talking about now land rights. We're talking about the government, basically with the Fed printing money endlessly. We're talking about the damage of the U.S. dollar as our world's reserve currency. All of it is related with this one thought: we forgot we the people first, and that the government was there to serve us, not us to serve it. So I actually think that government is the problem. And the fact that we don't trust the people. It's kind of like in healthcare. We could talk about that a little bit. We have a huge socialized healthcare problem here in America. And one of my big solutions to help solve the budget is to de-socialize healthcare. I'm the only Republican candidate talking about how we have to demonopolize healthcare because it's eating away our economy. It has 40% higher inflation than regular inflation for 20 years, and both Republicans and Democrats aren't doing anything about it. So until we demonopolize that, it's going to continually feed this huge system. But if we get back to we the people need our rights protected. We need to have information. We've let the government convince us that we're either not smart enough or things are too complicated for us to understand, and just to trust them.